What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And the market is thrown a googly, meaning that on Friday we saw that the markets did correct. I mean, Nifty was down about 150, 160 points. Even Bank Nifty was down about 1%. And still, there were constituents within Bank Nifty and within banks which did really well. Amongst Nifty as well, we saw that IT was starting to show signs of recovery, and then towards the end of the day, the last 30-minute fall of Nifty kind of took all of that away. Apart from that, there were so many other mid-cap names which were jumping like anything, meaning that the market breadth is still intact. But I think Nifty related stocks, meaning broader market stocks which are heavyweights, I think they could start seeing a correction. And I think this is the time when we have to be a little bit cautious because Nifty has multiple gaps to be filled on the downside. And if the market starts to kind of go down and fill all of these gaps, I think we're going to have a serious correction. Serious correction in the sense 5%, maybe 4%. Not a very big correction, but that could start happening. And the reason I'm trying to say this to you is that if you are someone who takes overnight long positions, right, whether it's going to be in stocks, whether it's going to be in the index, you then don't get a chance to exit, right? So it's very, very important whenever you're going to be taking an entry in any stock in any position in the next entire week. You have to be very specific. Apart from that, we also got non-farm payrolls data that was really, really good. And apart from that, the dollar started to move down based on two reasons. Number one was economic data, which was better than expected, and because of that, we saw dollar starting to go down, and gold and silver are again going to be the talk of the town. I'm going to be shortly posting a video. I already have a long position in gold. I will be updating you about that shortly, but I will drop a video on that soon. But keep an eye on gold and silver, and keep an eye on the de-dollarization that's going to happen, because even Russia announced that they're going to, in August, there's a summit where they're going to be announcing another currency with all the BRICS nations. So lots of things happening in the geopolitical scenario in terms of economics. So keep a track on all of that stuff. Now, coming on to the watch list for tomorrow, we have interesting names. So the first name that's coming onto my list is Reflex Industries. I think we've been speaking and we've been talking about this stock multiple times, and this is a runner. I mean, this stock has done phenomenally well. Very good earnings, very good price action, and I think a position in this stock is going to be really fruitful. I think stock is setting up really nicely, really nice, really tight contraction, and I think this is going to be one stock that you should definitely keep an eye on. This is going to go big. Now, whether the entry is here or not, I think only the market will tell tomorrow based on the intraday structure. But a very good stock to keep an eye on is Reflex Industries. Next up, we've got Rolex Rings, and Rolex Rings is an interesting name. So if you look at this, Rolex Rings, this is an all-time high. So we basically broke out of this entire range. I think a few days back, we saw decent volumes, and now we are coming inside this range. And I'll be very excited to play a break of this range and a very, very nice base that has been set up. So Rolex Rings definitely on the radar. Next up is VGuard, and VGuard is also an interesting name. VGuard has done nice things, and this stock is also coming out of its all-time highs now after a long, long time. This stock, high volume action, very nice activity here, and I think that this space is a really nice one, really tight one, perfectly positioned to explode tomorrow. So very, very interesting. I think one of my favorite names is going to be VGuard, apart from obviously Reflex. Then we've got Avas Financier. So after a big, big bad dump, stock changing its market structure, and post moving over here, the stock has given slight, characteristics of a shakeout, and now it's getting ready. So another day or two maybe, and then it gets ready to kind of head higher. So Avas is another stock that I'll be watching out for. Next up is Railtel. Now, although this is not a picture perfect looking setup, and it's something that I would kind of term as something that is not ready yet, but could move very shortly. So keep an eye on this one, Railtel. There is supply on the left side. The base is not complete yet, but I still think there's going to be good volume activity is nice. So keep an eye on this one. Barbecue Nation, another name. So after poor earnings, poor set of numbers, stock consolidated, pulled back, did random drama, and now finally the stock has created a U-shaped base, created a sub base over here, and now it's ready to move higher. Interesting statistics is declining volumes over here, so you can clearly see that this is an accumulation pace. Very nice action. I think barbecue is going to be something to watch out for. Fortis, we've been discussing about this stock. This is another name on the watch list. We discussed it when it was, kind of hovering around this base. Stock made two impulsive days, and now the stock is probably about to break out of its all-time high. So if I just shift the previous pivot here, I think lots of activity here, but this could also be a fake out, mind you. If healthcare stocks are not doing really well, please kindly ignore this. This is going to be a tricky one to trade, primarily set up for intraday trading. Fortis is the name to watch out for. Next up is rate gain, and rate gain we've discussed this when the base was developing. Stock popped up, and now everything is ready for another continuation on the upside. So rate gain again, now very interesting name. I'll definitely be watching this out as well. Very nice activity, very nice volume activity. Everything's pretty fine. Let's look at this beautiful base. I mean, there's absolutely everything that this stock has. PPL is another name, a similar looking structure, although a little extended. But Prakash Pipes is also creating a nice base, volume pops, and maybe 1 or 2 days of consolidation, and then it gets ready. So this is also one of the stocks which is not ready yet, but then could start moving, very nicely. Next up is SmartLink. Not a very, not a stock that I'm a fan of. The reason is it's very illiquid, very difficult to get in and out with size. But again, this is also making a similar looking structure. I will never advise you to trade this, but only for educational purposes, you can start tracking the stock. APL Limited, Alembic Pharma, again, a very picture perfect textbook setup, high volume activity over here. So you can see stock moves up, volumes are higher. Obviously, while this move was accelerating, volumes declined. But what's more important is the pullback volumes are very low. So I think this dry up of volume should see a break in volume and should see a break of this high. The only concerning thing is there's lots of liquidity around here, so that should be tracked. But all in all, I think setting up really decently, so I'll definitely be interested. Blue Star, a very good name, basing out really nicely. Mind you, Voltus has been losing market share in ACs, and Blue Star is one of the biggest beneficiaries of that. The problem with price action is tons of supply and tons of liquidity, pops over here, which I don't like. So another stock which is not ready yet, but definitely should be something on your radar. Polyplex was one stock that we spoke about previously also. We spoke about it when it was trading here. In 2 days, it gave a pop. It's doing the same thing again, and I think this could be ready to pop again. And if you look at the broader structure, I think it's interestingly, forming a nice little smaller little base over here, and then it's probably gonna start moving higher. So Polyplex, another demand kind of a trade, not an aggressive play, but something definitely to keep a watch out on. UCO Bank I added because I just saw that it's getting exhausted here, but at the same time, I think if by chance banks have a short covering rally, I think this is going to be one of the stocks to watch out for apart from Punjab National Bank. So keep a watch out on that. Indocount, very nice story. Just look at the pop, look at the volumes, and dry up here, and this dry up is going to lead to another impulsive leg on the upside. Maybe 1 or 2 days of price action, and then this thing gets ready and gets ready to explode. If you look at the left side, the stock has corrected for a long time. Stock went past this pivot. It's creating a base above that pivot. Very nice, and I think this is going to be something to watch out for. Landmark cards, we've been talking about this multiple times, never really triggered in entries. Lots of chop here, but there is a recent brokerage upgrade by Antiquity, I think. Antique, sorry, not Antiquity, Antique Broking, and I think that could act as a catalyst. And this may be, this might start moving up. So Landmark is basically a premiumization play. Lots of premiumization happening, and Landmark has multiple car dealerships. So definitely something to watch out for. Next up that I'm looking at is Mankind Pharma, and again a nice, nice U-shaped base coming in. No volume activity, that's a bummer, but I think moving nicely. Although this has lots and lots of imbalance in this entire range that I don't like, but from an intraday perspective, new IPO stock, double IPO base, I think could be interesting to watch out for. Max Health, another name, similar story, similar structure. Everything's really nice. Setting up a nice base, volume dry up, and then probably ready to move. Similar to Fortis. So remember, Fortis is coming up. Max Health is coming up. So maybe there could be some action over here. Masdok, probably one of the most interesting names that the entire street is going to be watching out for after a mammoth, monumental run about 80% in less than about 50 days. I really I really regret missing out on this entire area. I never traded mass stock in this entire phase. And the reason for that was basically around this time, it was not really giving me my setup. After this scandal, I was like, I'm not going to be interested in this. Very small pop here, didn't really get a chance. And then after this, I knew it was going to be a FOMO. So I just completely avoided it. And now it's again setting up a decent thing. I will not trade this because I feel it's too extended, but I think intraday opportunities could will still exist here. Madras Fertilizers, last stock in the name, fertilizer name, doing nice contractions. Fertilizer, demand is likely to increase with the coming monsoon, but that doesn't really impact this right now. Right now, this is one of the strongest stocks in the fertilizer space. Last time we discussed Chambal, we got stopped out around cost to cost when we traded it in the community. But I think fertilizer names, I think I would now rather prefer Madras fertilizers based on the current structure. And these are the stocks that I'm going to be watching out for tomorrow. Please be very careful. Nifty and Bank Nifty are at the cusp of a pullback. Doesn't mean it will definitely come in, but your stock selection should be really great so that you don't get impacted by it. And if you like the content, please hit the like button. That motivates me. Hit the comment button if you want to share something with me, and please make sure to subscribe to the content. Thank you so much. That's it from my side, and I will see you the next time. Thank you. Bye bye, and take care.